to be able to just make a choice on your own and just be able to speak for yourself.
This one's wife, not Meghan. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Yes, I've said her name. It happens from time to time where I deem it the appropriate context. Now, in this video, I'm looking at an article that's been around for a few days. I hadn't analysed it at the time that it came out because, quite simply, the spunk trumpetry that this one's wife and Harry were engaging in at the This One's Wife games meant that my time was occupied dissecting and analysing the wanky behaviours that both of them were engaging in. And now this one's wife has departed, at least for now, and Harry is having a well-earned rest, thinking, thank goodness I can now watch Asian babes in peace without her looking over my shoulder and have a bit of a pull of my pud in peace. I thought I would return to this article because whilst a number of you will probably be familiar with it, it does raise something rather interesting and strikes at the heart of what this one's wife is, or perhaps more accurately, what she isn't. It's an article written by Alison Boshoff for the Daily Mail, where she talks about the forthcoming cookery show. She starts with mentioning some of the problems that this one's wife has had so far, for instance, the Billie Eilish t-shirt nonsense, and how Adam Levine and Behati Prinsloo have not said anything about it, neither has Billie Eilish, and how all of this was making this one's wife look rather silly for reasons that you're fully familiar with from parts passim. But Boshoff goes on to write, we're only a few weeks away from the delayed launch of her Netflix TV show with Love Meghan. Nobody seems to be paying attention to the social media of her associated lifestyle merchandising brand, American Riviera Orchard. American Riviera Orchard still has only 598,000 followers on Instagram, against 1.7 million for this one's wife's personal account, has been embarrassingly affected by a rejig in the app's format as it appears on some accounts. The grid, which once proclaimed American Riviera Orchard Monty Shit Show in swirling gold script, now reads Amen Riviera Charred Ontosit. And in a further cause of consternation for the Duchess, who fiercely protects the privacy of her children, her old friend, the activist and journalist Gloria Steinem, has accidentally shared a clear image of both Archie and Lilibet. And that's the photograph that many of you will have seen, where Lilibet seems to be sporting her own veneers in a rather strange picture. She then goes on also to talk about the South Park Worldwide Privacy Tour, the Vanity Fair publishing an unflattering profile of the couple, and with the future of the Netflix deal up in the air, it seems that this one's wife is pinning her hopes on a lifestyle show to claw back some popularity. To that end, with Love, this one's wife doubles as a PR exercise. Well, of course, it's facade management, and aims to convince the audience of her saintly qualities as a friend. Her close pal, non-intimate secondary source Abigail Spencer, a former co-star on Suits, so in actual fact somebody she worked with, who appears on the series, has spoken about this one's wife's heart-song magical thoughtfulness, whatever the fuck that means, and it can be revealed that this one's wife is the theme of the show. Another friend, charity founder Kelly McKee Zaffan, has also talked on Instagram about the magic that is this one's wife. A select few have been able to see a preview of the series, and one told Boshoff that a wand has certainly been waved over this one's wife's tricky public image. The source said, I think the most interesting thing about it is seeing the pains she takes to give absolutely no offence. All her shows up to now have been this one's wife with an agenda. If you look back to the Oprah interview or Harry and this one's wife, but this is her on her own, and she takes pains to say absolutely nothing which is in any way controversial or newsworthy. What she does is create a beautiful dream world of candles and flowers and friends. Of course, this is just a fabrication, isn't it? As you know, it's the facade management. The source explains it's not a cooking show, it's about how to be a perfect host and, by extension, how to be a great friend, which, of course, this one's wife knows nothing about in the truest sense of it, because to her, being a great friend means you do exactly what she wants and you provide her with what she needs: fuel, character traits and residual benefits. Although, of course, she doesn't actively know that. That's really what she wants from a friend. A cynic might point out, with so many of her family relationships in ashes, she certainly couldn't deliver a show about hosting family gatherings. This one's wife is shown picking out a posy of flowers for the guest room of the makeup artist Daniel Martin, which she hand ties. The source said, she shows you how to make your guest room pretty, how to dry a homemade potpourri to put by the bed. Whoa, such talent. She shows what she cooks for dinner, but not really how. There aren't recipes. She just talks about a lovely dish of pasta or baking bread. It's very aspirational. Everything is perfect. Part of the blurb was create wonder in every moment, and the source explains one of the moments of wonder is definitely her wardrobe. It's pretty much all white, cream or beige with masses of gold jewellery and diamonds. She's absolutely pristine throughout and perfectly styled. For once, it would appear, this is the somatic narcissist again appearing. Presented as a sophisticated California homemaker with a circle of influential friends, there's no trace of the jobbing actress who scrabbled her way up via a role as a briefcase girl on Deal or No Deal. Nor is there any sign of the philanthropist powerhouse who said she wanted to get her boots on the ground as a new member of the royal family. Nor of the woman who cut off her own father over his perceived media betrayal. This, of course, highlights the chameleon nature of the narcissist that this one's wife is. The source says, I'm told she is sweetness and light on this show. No conflict, no sadness. It's very sophisticated and elevated. Nothing folksy. Wisely, she acknowledges that she's filming the show in the house next door to her own home, and also admits that, contrary to the impression she may have given in the trailer, she is not a beekeeper. Nor is she the one who has raised those perfect heads of lettuce which she picks. She is, by some distance, the most famous person who features, which shows that anybody of any real fame has stayed well away from it. She has a guest every week, mostly it's a mate. Most of them were previously on her podcast, which again demonstrates that her pulling power is pretty minimal. Apparently this includes Mindy Kaling, Alice Waters, Roy Choi, Daniel Martin, Delphina Blacquier, who's married to Nacho, of course, fashion designer Tracy Robbins, who's married to Paramount boss Brian. So it just shows what a complete failure she is, that she can't get anybody in that's particularly interesting and has to rely on the existing inner circle friends, the non-intimate secondary sources that basically just tolerate her. But what's interesting about this is the fact that this one's wife is admitting that it isn't her lettuce, that they aren't her bees. And this admission, you might think, well, why would she do that? Well, of course, she's doing it to try and make herself sound authentic, because this is something that she bangs on about all of the time, that she wants you to believe that for once that she can be this uncontroversial figure, that the show should succeed, that it's a lovely show without there being any controversy associated with it, that she wants to say, yeah, I'm relaxed about that they're not my bees, and no, I didn't grow the lettuce. To make you believe that she's being more truthful. But that is just a manipulation in itself, because she's a narcissist. She will use the truth being they're not her bees and they're not her lettuce, in order to manipulate people into thinking that she's actually considerate and decent, when we all know that she isn't. Now, many people will not be convinced by this, but once again, it's a different tact that her narcissism is adopting in order to get to the prime aims. This time, it's the utilization of the truth. And as I've explained to you before, the narcissist can use the truth as you understand it to be, half-truths and often lies. Watch the video the truth, the half-truth, and nowhere near the truth to understand more about that. But it made me think that in relation to this one's wife saying, no, those aren't my bees, it's not her bees, and it's not her lettuce, what else is it a case of not this one's wife? It's not her lettuce, it's not her bees, it's not her jam, it's not her recipes, it's not her house, it's not her cooking, it's not her hair, it's not her teeth, it's not her clothes, it's not her friends, it's not her content, it's not her interviews, it's not her quotations, it's not her speeches, it isn't her anecdotes. So many things that this narcissist has acquired which aren't hers because she's fake. So many things that have been acquired from other people by virtue of the prime aim of character trait acquisition because she fabricates. So many things that it's not, because that's the very essence of this one's wife. It's not what she is, it's all about what she's not, because she's empty. What else might you add to that list of what she's not from the things that I've mentioned to you? Show me in the comments. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.